50 Cent's Master Plan. How one documentary destroyed Diddy's empire. What started as hip-hop beef became the takedown of a music mogul. For 20 years, 50 Cent plotted his revenge against Diddy. Now, one Netflix documentary has shattered every escape route Diddy had left. His lawyers are furious. His appeal is crumbling, and the footage that was supposed to save him became the weapon that sealed his fate. This isn't just about music industry drama. This is about how one man's refusal to pay a videographer created a paper trail that destroyed decades of carefully built legal strategies. The footage that changed everything. This story begins with a simple business transaction gone wrong. Diddy, despite his billionaire status, made a critical error that would eventually bring down his entire empire. He hired a young videographer to document his life, promising payment for what would become over 140 hours of intimate footage. But when the bills came due, Diddy balked. The videographer presented invoices showing extensive hours worked, following Diddy everywhere from yachts to private meetings. Instead of paying, Diddy questioned every line item through his office staff. He challenged the hours, disputed the rates, and ultimately refused payment entirely. What Diddy didn't understand was the legal implications of his decision. Without a signed contract transferring ownership of the footage, the videographer retained full rights to everything he had recorded. When 50 Cent approached as the highest bidder, the videographer had every legal right to sell. This wasn't stolen footage, as Diddy's lawyers claimed. This was a business transaction between a creditor and a buyer. Diddy's refusal to honor his financial obligations created his own downfall. The man who built an empire on business deals had forgotten the most basic rule: always pay your contractors. Attorney-client privilege. The most devastating revelation came when viewers saw something unprecedented in legal history. Diddy had secretly recorded his own conversations with his defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, without the lawyer's knowledge or consent. These weren't just casual conversations. These were strategic legal discussions where Agnifilo was developing a brilliant defense strategy that had already proven successful. The attorney had managed to secure favorable outcomes despite overwhelming evidence, using legal expertise that few could match. But while Agnifilo spoke candidly, believing he was in a protected attorney-client relationship, Diddy was performing for the camera. The footage shows moments where Diddy appears to be speaking more to the videographer than to his lawyer, creating a record of conversations that were meant to remain confidential. Quick pause. Do you think Diddy was right to record his own legal meetings without telling his lawyer? Comment your take below. The betrayal goes deeper than just recording the conversations. Agnifilo had invested his reputation and considerable legal skill in defending Diddy. The strategy worked. Yet Diddy's secret recordings not only exposed his lawyer's methods, but also embarrassed him publicly. The foundation of trust that every attorney-client relationship requires was completely shattered. Legal experts are calling this one of the most damaging betrayals they've ever witnessed in high-profile criminal defense. When your own client secretly records you and then allows that footage to be broadcast internationally, the relationship becomes impossible to maintain. The Netflix nuclear option. 50 Cent's timing with the Netflix release was strategically perfect. As Diddy's legal team prepared their appeal strategy, believing they had months to work in relative privacy, the documentary dropped like a nuclear bomb on their plans. Diddy's lawyers immediately fired back with cease and desist letters, threatening a $1 billion lawsuit against both 50 Cent and Netflix. They claimed the footage was stolen and unauthorized, demanding the documentary be removed from the platform. But their legal threats fell apart under scrutiny. 50 Cent had acquired the footage through a legitimate business transaction. The videographer, as the legal owner of the content, had every right to sell it to the highest bidder. Netflix's legal team had done their due diligence, ensuring all footage was obtained through proper channels. The difference between stolen content and purchased evidence became crucial. Courts recognized that unpaid contractors retain ownership of their work product. Diddy's refusal to pay had inadvertently placed this damaging footage into the marketplace, where his biggest enemy was waiting to buy it. What makes this even more devastating for Diddy is the timing. The documentary released just as his legal team was preparing to argue that he deserved leniency, that the public had the wrong impression of him, and that he was a changed man. Instead, viewers saw intimate footage of him scheming and plotting, completely undermining every argument his lawyers planned to make. Political maneuvering behind Barr's documentary revealed something that shocked even seasoned legal observers. Diddy's team had already reached out to President Trump requesting a preemptive pardon. Before conviction, before sentencing, they were already planning political escape routes. But 50 Cent had anticipated this move. He publicly announced his intention to personally contact Trump, reminding the president of every criticism Diddy had ever made against him. 50 wasn't just fighting in court. He was fighting in the political arena where pardons are decided. The political maneuvering exposes just how desperate Diddy's situation had become. Presidential pardons for state convictions are extremely rare and typically reserved for cases of clear injustice or political persecution. For Diddy's team to pursue this route suggests they knew traditional appeals had little chance of success. 50 Cent's counter-strategy was brilliant in its simplicity. He didn't need to convince Trump of Diddy's guilt. He just needed to remind Trump of their personal history. In politics, personal relationships often matter more than legal arguments. The public nature of 50's campaign also made it politically dangerous for Trump to grant clemency. Any pardon would now look like he was choosing between two celebrities rather than making a principled legal decision. Prison violations and appeal destruction. While Diddy's lawyers worked desperately to build an appeal case, their client was systematically destroying their efforts from inside prison. The documentary revealed that Diddy had been caught drinking alcohol and making unauthorized phone calls while incarcerated. These violations might seem minor, but they're devastating for appeal prospects. Appellate courts consider a defendant's conduct while incarcerated as evidence of their character and likelihood to reoffend. Someone who can't follow basic prison rules appears unlikely to follow the terms of any reduced sentence. The documented rule-breaking gave prosecutors additional ammunition to argue against leniency. Every violation became evidence that Diddy felt rules didn't apply to him, reinforcing the prosecution's original case about his character. Judges typically factor post-conviction behavior heavily into sentencing and appeal decisions. Diddy's prison conduct suggested he had learned nothing from his conviction and remained the same person who allegedly committed the original crimes. The Netflix revelations made these violations public knowledge, creating additional pressure on appellate courts to uphold the original sentence. No judge wants to be seen as going easy on someone who openly flouts prison regulations. The Tupac connection reopened. Perhaps the most dangerous development for Diddy came from an unexpected source: Tupac Shaker's family. The documentary's exploration of alleged connections between Diddy and the unsolved murder case prompted the family to hire investigators and reopen their own inquiry. The timing couldn't be worse for Diddy's legal team. Just as they were trying to minimize his legal exposure, a completely separate murder investigation was gaining momentum. Attorney Alex Spiro, representing Tupac's family, confirmed they were actively investigating potential connections to Diddy. This investigation connects to the ongoing case against Keith D, who faces trial for Tupac's murder. Any evidence linking Diddy to those events could result in additional federal charges, completely separate from his current legal troubles. Law enforcement sources confirmed they had been investigating these connections for years but struggled to find witnesses willing to testify. The documentary's public attention might encourage more people to come forward with information. For Diddy, this represents a nightmare scenario. Just as one case approaches potential resolution, another murder case emerges with fresh evidence and renewed investigative attention. The decades-old cold case suddenly has new life, and Diddy finds himself at the center of multiple federal investigations. Jury tampering allegations and trial integrity. Documentary sparked controversial discussions about jury selection and trial integrity in high-profile cases. Critics, including media personality Jackie Wright, alleged that some jurors were compromised from the start, either as fans of Diddy or individuals naturally sympathetic to celebrity defendants. These allegations raise serious questions about how courts handle celebrity cases. When defendants have massive public profiles and cultural influence, finding truly impartial jurors becomes nearly impossible. Some legal experts argue that celebrity status itself creates an unfair advantage in criminal proceedings. The documentary showed footage of jurors discussing their impressions of Diddy, raising questions about whether their stated neutrality was genuine. If jurors were indeed biased, it could provide grounds for appeal, but it also suggests the original trial was compromised. However, these same allegations could backfire on Diddy if courts determine that celebrity influence created an unfair advantage for the defense. Future celebrity defendants might face stricter jury selection processes. Diddy's case could actually make it harder for wealthy defendants to exploit their fame. The jury bias discussion also highlights a broader problem in the justice system. How do you ensure fair trials when defendants have massive cultural influence and public recognition? The complete collapse. 50 Cent promised more footage would be released on YouTube in the coming months. Footage that didn't make it into the Netflix documentary. This means Diddy's legal nightmare is far from over. Every new revelation potentially undermines his appeals and creates fresh legal jeopardy. The cascade effect is devastating. The documentary destroyed his relationship with his lawyers, exposed his political escape plans, revealed his prison violations, reopened cold case investigations, and created public pressure against clemency. Each revelation makes the next problem worse. What started as 50 Cent's revenge plot has become a complete dismantling of Diddy's legal strategy. Every escape route has been systematically closed off, leaving Diddy with nowhere to run and no one left to trust. The irony is perfect. Diddy's attempt to document his own life for a future comeback documentary became the weapon that destroyed his freedom. His refusal to pay a young videographer created the evidence trail that his biggest enemy needed to finish him forever. If this surprised you, like the video, it helps the channel. Share it with one person following this story, and comment what you think really happened.